So thanks everybody for being here um, and welcome. My name's Annie Brocious and I'm the program manager for the Arts and Business Council of Greater Nashville. And thanks for joining us this evening for the Periscope interest session. With me this evening is Jonathan Harwell Dye, our Director of Programs, and also Periscope Class of 2022 alum, photographer, and entrepreneur, Ashley Hilbert. For anyone here who's new to ABC, just a little bit about who we are. We're an independent nonprofit arts organization with a mission to leverage and unite the unique resources of the arts and business communities to create a thriving, sustainable, and creative culture in Nashville. To do this, we create mutually beneficial partnerships between arts and business. For example, we partner with the Nashville Soccer Club every year on the curation of their Sound Waves Gallery and manage calls for other arts initiatives throughout their season and other arts initiatives for other organizations as well. We provide direct services, key opportunities, and education to the creative community to help them master the business of art. Periscope, of course, but we also host shorter format webinars and workshops. A couple of you attended our in-person workshop last week pitching to the media for creatives with our partners Mojo Marketing and PR. We have our Tennessee Film and Entertainment webinar series, recordings of which you can find on our YouTube channel. We also provide legal services for artists through the Volunteer Lawyers and Professionals for the Arts, VLPA. And our quarterly legal clinic is coming up February 5th. So if you have any burning legal questions about copyrights, contracts, or other items, make sure you sign up. And finally, we inspire workplace creativity in businesses to demonstrate the impact of the arts through tangible benefits and to develop longtime arts participants and supporters. We do this through our Creative Advantage corporate training suite, where we provide public and custom artistic-based workshops, and also through Arts Board Matching, a training program for business professionals to help them become effective nonprofits Arts Boards members and to match them with organizations seeking to build up their boards. So here's a list of our growing staff. Jill McMillan Palm is our executive director. I introduced Jonathan Harwell Dye, our director of programs. Courtney C.K. Stone is our director of development. I am Jennifer Annie Brocious, program manager, and Kate Formway is our volunteer services specialist. So this evening, we're going to cover the following topics. What is Periscope? Who can apply? What should you expect from the program? The application timeline and process, attendance requirements. We'll watch a brief set of testimonials, and then we'll open things up for your questions. So what is Periscope? It's an intensive, interactive, curriculum-based program. Being in person allows for participants to truly engage with the instructors and also to work closely with facilitators and your classmates in small group work every week. It takes a lot of hard work and a lot of attention inside and outside the classroom. And the goal is to empower you, the working artists, to see your creative practice through an entrepreneurial lens, which means understanding the underlying mechanisms of business that you can apply to your creative business and what the tools are that other entrepreneurs use that you can also use to sell and market your work and your business. Periscope was founded alongside 4 partners who we worked with to develop the core curriculum and helped fund the program initially. The Nashville Entrepreneur Center, who we still work closely with. Some of our instructors, coaches, and judges have been through the EC in some sort of capacity throughout the years. Metro Arts Nashville Office of Arts and Culture, the Mayor's Office of Economic and Community Development, and the Nashville Area Chamber of Commerce. The class of 2025 will be the 12th class of Periscope artist entrepreneurs in Nashville. There are roughly 3 phases to the program, and I say roughly because there's overlap. Phase 1 is the 9 weeks of in-person training. We meet every Thursday from March 20th through May 15th. At each session, you'll be assigned homework that you will need to complete by the next session. So with the exception of the first week, which is an evening event, which I'll follow up with more details later, sessions run for half day from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Belmont University campus. After you complete the 9 weeks, you will move on to phase 2, which is a period of 6 months of one-on-one mentorship. You'll be paired with a business mentor who will commit to work with you for at least 1 hour a month to help you apply what you have learned in the training to your specific creative business. Phase 3 is the Periscope Pitch and Entrepreneur Showcase, our big event, which happens in early September. This is the culminating event celebrating your accomplishments that includes a showcase for your business, a pitch competition, and a graduation ceremony. The curriculum is intended to help you develop a solid business plan, and part of executing that plan is being able to articulate it to potential customers, funders, and partners. This is your pitch. Over the summer leading up to this event, you'll have the opportunity to participate in two preliminary rounds for that pitch competition, one day in June and one day in July. After these two rounds, we'll narrow the field to about 8 individuals who will present their pitches at the main event in the fall. Every artist in the program participates in the showcase, which is a trade show style setup. You'll each get a table to set up as your booths where you can discuss your creative businesses with the event attendees. There are cash prizes awarded for those pitching and showcasing. So, who can apply? First off, you must be a resident of Tennessee and be able to attend all 9 in person sessions, as well as the preliminary pitch rounds and final event. You need to be a working artist. That means you're making work in any artistic discipline. You're a working professional in your discipline, not necessarily working full time, but with the intent of being a professional in your discipline. You cannot be currently enrolled in a degree granting program. This is not a program for people who are in undergrad or graduate school. Periscope requires presence and focus. It's also a lot of information to process in a relatively short amount of time. You need to be able to immerse yourself to get to the most out of the program. What should you expect? This is a 9-week in-person training where you get a big picture view of your business model and what the mechanism of business are. How you can understand where your resources come from, how you market your work, how to identify your customers, and really digging into functional business practices. These classes all build up on each other. Things we cover week 1, you'll be thinking about week 9, and you'll continue to apply them to developing your pitch, the mentorship process, and into the future of your business practice. So big picture, long-term and short-term skill development. All the more reason for you to be able to commit to attend all of the sessions. Exchange is a big part of the Periscope experience. We select a cohort of 25 artists. At the beginning, we divide the class into small groups of 5 people each and provide you with a group leader. This group leader will guide you through conversations each week during a small group session in the middle of the day between training sessions. The idea is to help you work what you are learning into the curriculum into your actual specific creative practice. So these group leaders are arts professionals who have done this work and have walked through the program before. They'll also assign homework and review it with you. Mentorship. You will be paired one-on-one with a high caliber business mentor. That business mentor is a volunteer who commits to work with you at least 1 hour per month for 6 months. Their role is to help you work through some of the hurdles that you need to overcome and to apply what you've learned to move your business forward. You're the driver in mentorship in a lot of ways. You need to reach out to set your meetings, come to them prepared with your questions and discussion points. You'll lead the meetings, and they're a resource for you to help you work out your ideas and apply what you've learned. And then last, exposure. At the pitch event, for example, last year we had about 200 people attend, including business leaders, artists, and other community partners. We record the pitches and put them online for the general public to access and share them on social media. We also have year-round opportunities for alumni to share their career milestones in our newsletter and social media, any opportunity we can get to showcase them to the broader Nashville community. We also share creative opportunities with alumni and try to keep in touch and stay engaged, creating a real community of artist entrepreneurs who can also be a great support system for each other. So here is an outline of the typical training day. I say typical training day, and I'll get to there in a second. 9 o'clock to 10:30 a.m., the training sessions with a full group led by entrepreneurial leaders. This consists of interactive lectures and panel discussions. 10:45 to 12:45, there are breakout sessions with small groups facilitated by local arts leaders. It's the same group and leader every week. You'll go over your homework, talk about what you've learned that day, how it all ties together, and how to apply that to your business. It's an opportunity for you to bounce ideas off of others who are going through the same process as you are. And then finally, at 1 to 2 p.m., the shorter afternoon sessions include presentations and panel discussions with arts leaders, business professionals, and allies to talk about specific topics related to entrepreneurship, like equity in entrepreneurship and overcoming the barriers, practical marketing topics, goal setting tools, and other add-ons that you can apply as you're going through your process. As I mentioned briefly before, the first week is the exception. March 20th will be an evening Periscope Nashville kickoff class and alumni mixer running from 6 to 8 p.m. that includes an alumni panel discussion and Q&A. The location will be confirmed shortly. So what should you expect the timeline to be like? So we're past January 6th when the applications opened. January 21st is today, the Periscope interest session. January 31st, nominations are due. So nominations are an opportunity for people in the broader community to tell us about an artist that we may not have in our contacts and may not be in our immediate circle. The nomination form is very simple. We just ask for people to provide a name, an email address, and optional notes about the artist. We then take those names and send them invitations to apply. You do not need to be nominated to apply. You do not need to nominate yourself either. The number of nominations doesn't matter. They just help us broaden our reach. And when you're ready to apply, just complete the full application. February 6th is when the applications are due and then passed on to the review committee. The week of February 24th, we'll begin notifying artists. March 20th, training begins. May 15th, training ends and mentorship begins shortly thereafter. June 26th and July 24th are the pitch preliminaries. And then the pitch event will be in early September. Traditionally, it's the first or second week of September. Application materials. First, you need to complete the application. We recommend that you sit with it for a bit, though, to really think it through. Google Docs won't always save something that you start. So we recommend you go through and write out your thoughts and information in a separate Word or Google document so you can fine tune, come back to it later, proofread it, etc. When you're happy with what you have, go ahead and paste it into the form and submit. Once you do that, you will need to send us your attachments in a separate email to info@abcnashville.org. All of this information is on the application, by the way. This includes a copy of your resume or CV, 3 pages max, and please in Word or PDF format. We also ask that you send work samples that are appropriate to your discipline. That can be audio or video samples for musicians, digital images of your artwork for painters, sculptors, jewelers, etc., or copies of your writing samples. Please read the instructions carefully on the application, as we do have limits as to what formats we can accept and how many samples of each discipline we can have reviewed by our committee. In the instructions, we ask for identifying details on those work samples, including titles, dates, completed measurements, or links. Don't skip that part. Put that information into the body of your email, or even better, into a Word or PDF document as an attachment so we can easily share it with the reviewers. And just a helpful tip for everybody, when you send attachment of your work, give them the same name you do in your descriptive list. So whether it's the name, for example, if it's the name of your painting, or if it's a title of your writing sample, 1, 2, 3, something like that. So often people will send us a nice typed list in their email with a painting, name, medium, measurements, etc. And then their digital images are image 4269. And that then requires us to circle back, ask for clarification. It just drags things out and makes communication choppy. And just to be clear, you don't upload those attachments to the Google form as part of the application. It's a separate email that needs to get to us before that February 6th deadline. So your application will not be considered complete until we receive the Google form, your CV or resume, and your work samples with descriptions. The review process. Each year, we assemble a community committee to review the applications. The committee members evaluate each portfolio based on quality or creative vision. Are you creating work that's of a high quality in the discipline of your practice? It's not a question of what discipline is good art or bad art. It's whether you're creating work that has a potential to be successful in that business. Motivation or need. Have you been putting in the work and effort to launch the business you've described? Will this training be able to help you at the point that you've reached in building your business? Are you motivated? Are you ready to go and you ready for guidance and direction? Diversity and representation of the whole class. Diversity and representation is incredibly important to us. This includes racial demographics, gender identity, artistic discipline, whether you live in a rural area or an urban area versus suburban, et cetera. There are a lot of factors that go into play. We want a well-rounded class. And then finally, you'll be scored on the overall impression of your application. The panelists on this committee include artists, art leaders and alumni, curators, administrators, and producers, and also community partners and entrepreneurs. So it's not necessarily all artists, it's not necessarily all alumni. We include people from the business community and the overall Nashville community to review these. So program costs. This whole page here that you're seeing is on the website itself, and there are more details included also on the application. So read everything very closely. This is just going to be a quick scan. There is no application fee. There is a program fee only if you are accepted. These fees are detailed on the program webpage, abcnashville.org/periscope, and I'll send you a copy of these slides as well. The program participation fee is on a sliding scale based on income. The program is valued at $2,000+ per participant and has been generously subsidized by the Arts and Business Council's funders and program partners to be accessible. The program participation fee tiers are Tier C, which is $500 per person for individuals with an annual gross household income of more than $48,650. Tier B would be $250 per person. This is for individuals with an annual income between $29,190 and $48,649. And then finally, Tier A is $50 per person. It is for individuals with an annual gross household income of $29,189 or less. If you're accepted into the program, you will be asked to provide proof of income. On the application, you're asked for your gross annual household income, and then if you're accepted, we will follow up then with this step. We strongly prefer this in the form of the most recently filed tax return form 1040, representing all members of your household. At this point, it's likely that what was submitted was last April, so a complete list of options are available on the application, but once again, tax returns are preferred. And payment plans are available at all tiers. Attendance is mandatory. Pay attention to the program dates and times listed on our website. There are many more applicants than spots available. If we have 100 or 150 people apply, we can only take 25 per year. In order to ensure the best quality programming, build a collaborative and supportive program network, and to be fair to people who haven't been offered a spot, we ask that Periscope participants attend all sessions during the 9-week training. The program is in person, so take that into consideration. Not only is it better to be there in person to engage with the instructors and panelists, but to ask questions in real time, exchange ideas, etc. But the group sessions are not something you can just take notes on after the fact. And we prefer that people don't record those sessions. It's an opportunity for people to really be able to just open up and bounce ideas off of each other and, be vulnerable for a little bit with people who are going through some of the same things that they are as well. It's a person-to-person discussion and brainstorming session. You can't make up or get benefit from notes. Of course, in extreme circumstances like illness or emergencies, we can excuse an absence, but we definitely need you to commit to be there for the duration. So now that I've done all the talking, I want to take a moment to show you a short video of testimonials from our alumni over the years. This video was created in an event celebrating our 10th Periscope class featuring artists from a variety of years.
I love that the team has put together Periscope. I think the fact that there's something like this here in Nashville for artists to come to and learn and connect and join for the past 10 years is, I think, just remarkable.
A lot of the success that I've had since Periscope is really attributed to everything I learned there.
Honestly, for me, I think the biggest success that came from my experience with Periscope was being able to confidently call myself an artist.
My success is that I was able to hone in on what my business is. Periscope changed the trajectory of my business just because I was able to get a real business model. What I was doing before was just, again, hustle, grit, grind. So I was spending a lot of time and energy. I was kind of like moving nowhere fast.
I think the most unexpected result of me going through Periscope was ended up being given an artistic grant from a person who attended my pitch, came up and wrote me a check and gave me money and basically said, like, this is so that you can be you next year.
So I'm so grateful to be a part of the team and part of the family now, and really finding my community as an autistic artist in Nashville, and I feel at home here.
When we pitch projects, we think about impact first and foremost, and I think if you get to the 10-year mark, it's a great time to look back and reflect on your impact overall. That's a lot of artists and a lot of art that's made thanks to what we learned in the program.
Yeah, Jonathan dropped into the chat a really excellent point that if you know any other artists that would be interested in applying, please nominate them and we'll invite them to apply.
I have a question. I kind of jumped in a little bit late and I apologize. So you might have already covered this, but I wanted to know the tangible outcomes of these classes, of whether like the homeworks or whatnot. So for instance, are we maybe doing a business plan, or are we doing maybe like a goal or a vision for uh business or creative venture or whatnot? I just wanted to know, and you might have already covered that and I might have missed it, but just wanted to know the specific homework or the tangible outputs. I know we're going to be doing a pitch, but just curious about that.
Well, each of the classes builds on itself. I mean, each of the classes has a specific topic, and we do in fact go deeply into goal setting at two different levels. And so just discussing your goals, discussing your ideal customers, ultimately building a business plan. We go through different kinds of business structures. I've pretty much try to squeeze in, like I said, this is a ton of information that we're sharing with people in a short period of time. But pretty much walking through all of that so that when you're done with the class, you have a collection not only of the notes that you've taken, but if you want to be specific and tangible, we also do share all the slide decks with you. We use Google Classroom to manage communication and with amongst the class. That includes the curriculum as we go, and it includes any worksheets that the speakers have you guys work through, the presentations, and all of that. So you're going to be walking away with a full package of information. And just we have a heavy focus on when we talk about Periscope and talking about the pitch, because the process of coming up with a elevator pitch is, in fact, coming up with a business plan, identifying your customers, identifying your product, and everything that goes along with that. And I also mentioned early on that our afternoon sessions are deep dive on hot topics that have come up. So we will have a look at goals. We also have a look at different like business entities, legal entities. That's a big question people always have. And then also digital marketing, different things like that. So yes, I see Jonathan answered the question. We do hold classes at Belmont University on the Belmont University campus. And yes, culinary artists are encouraged to apply. We actually had a culinary artist who was one of the final pitching artists back in, I want to say 2023. Susie's asking, could you please explain how the application process is divided? Yeah, the application is your step one. And it's like I said, you're going to want to open up that application, take a look at the questions, and probably type that all out separately for yourself just to really work through it, and then select what work samples you're going to want to have to send to us. It's a Google form that is the application. So once you're ready to go, paste in all your text and check off all the boxes and hit go, and that will come to us. But then send us a separate email with your CV or resume, your samples of your work with the descriptions, and that should be it. It's basically a two-step process as far as that goes.
Can you speak to culinary arts, visual arts, performing arts, what the breakdown might be? Or
we try to make the class of 25 be a very careful range of people. We have people applying who are writers, singers, music teachers, culinary artists, filmmakers, actors, people who were putting on music festivals for kids, dancers, sculptors, jewelry makers. And we try to create a cohort from the applications that is a very inclusive range of the arts, so that we can cover a lot of bases. But we feel like the artists benefit from being around other artists who are doing different things. We all get siloed a lot of times. And in Nashville, we have this huge, rich community. Ashley, what was your experience with being able to network with people who were artists but doing different things?
Yeah. Hi, guys. Welcome to this Periscope meeting. I really, as a graduate of Periscope, I really enjoyed the process. And I wanted to, one of the things was about the program is I'm a working photographer and I have a business. And when I applied to Periscope, I was kind of interested in doing like a kind of a variation on a concept that I was interested in doing. And what Periscope gave me was this dedicated space to develop and to really focus on developing my concept, and with all the different lessons we got and all the meetings. And as far to Annie's question about the vast number of artists, like it was all different types of people, and I'm still friendly with people. I actually just had lunch with one of the artists, a visual artist that was in my group 2 days ago. So we stay in touch, and it's really great. It's a great program. I got a ton out of it. I never would have probably done what I did if I wasn't in the program, because I never would have gotten that focused to sit down and actually do it. So that was one of the things I'm most grateful for, is having the structure to go to this program and dedicate the time to take my business in a new direction. And I really enjoyed the program and met so many great people. It's well worth it. And every kind of artist. I mean, we had dancers, we had, music people. It runs the gamut. Anyone can do this.
It is kind of, I think I mentioned this earlier in the talk, is that the idea of creating community is a long-term community is also a valuable part of this. Where I've only been with Arts and Business Council since 2021, but I keep on running. I always say I run into the artists in the wild, and it's really fun how I'll find out that there are people, I'll encounter people that I met from a current class who met or I introduced to someone from a previous class from years ago, and have seen people collaborating on projects. There was someone not long ago who made a film and ended up working with a Periscope artist who was a light designer artist, and she created these really cool images for his film. And so it was just a neat, it's just a neat community to be able to enter. Melissa is asking, what percentage of a working artist do you need to be to qualify for application? I think that there is a huge range. There are people who are creating art as a side hustle for themselves and really getting started and have a clear idea of where they want to go, or have an idea of a direction they want to go. They just don't know the steps to get through it. We also have people who have been doing this for 25 years and have hit a plateau, and they need something to be able to help them reset questions, that things that they had taught themselves, that maybe they'd benefit from asking questions from a professional. And then we have people who have completely pivoted their career. They've reached a point where they can't continue doing the kind of artwork that they've been doing, and they want to take it to a different direction, maybe turning into becoming a teaching artist. Definitely different levels. Jonathan, do you have any input on that particular question?
Sure. Melissa, the one I would say, I guess the first thing I would say is, there's not a hard percentage. Like, we're not looking to be like, are you spending 50% of your time on
Yeah.
this business today? Or, there's no real way to necessarily measure those things. But it's more reflected in sort of in your application. Are you actively pursuing this? Have you been actively pursuing this? And, the questions that are in the application talk about the business that you are applying for and where you are in the process, and asking those questions. So it really is about, is this something you've been actively pursuing, um, or or not? So it's really not a percentage as much as just, we're looking for people who have been actively creating work with the intention of building a business from that work. It's really, other than that, I don't think you can put a percentage number. It's more about like your depth of knowledge about what you're trying to do and how you're able to convey that in your application is really how that's judged.
I think too, that's another good reason to just take the application and sit down and just start pounding out some ideas, because it does walk you through saying, hey, give us, list some goals, list some particular ideas that you have. And so if you can fill out the application, you're already on your way. Too, we have people who have applied more than once, who got in on a second or third try, who ended up doing quite well. And so I don't think that anybody should ever not apply either. If they don't feel ready and they're not sure, hang on, maybe experiment by taking some courses through some of our shorter term programs and stuff like that. But definitely, if you think that you have an idea and you have a goal and you have an ambition, fill it out, and there could be a place for you.
I have a quick question actually about Like how beneficial is this program for multidisciplinary artists? Because I know sometimes it can be difficult when you have to, or at least for myself anyways, when I have to be one thing and not another. So how does that work for people who like to be all over the place?
Well, that's a great question. I think
Yeah.
that comes up for a lot of folks. And what I will tell you is, while you are a lot of things and you can be a lot of things in the program, we do stress that you do have to focus on a thing to take it to that next level. So very upfront, the part of the program is kind of figuring out what are you going to focus on that's a business and what are you doing for yourself as an artist, right? And how do you make that split and that decision for yourself of like, this is the thing that I am focused on to make a living from or to make an income from, and these are the things that I'm not. And a lot of artists, you're doing multiple types of things to be able to bring in enough revenue overall to make a full living. And we do talk about that, but there is an emphasis on focus. And I'll let Ashley kind of speak to that as an alum as well, kind of her experience. Ashley, could you talk a little bit about sort of that push on focus versus being
Yeah.
sort of multidisciplinary?
Yeah, this is actually a good question for me because I came in as a photographer. I mean, my business was photography only, and what my project coming in or where I wanted to focus was a mixed media of art and painting. So it was a combo thing. So it was something that I never even had attempted to sell. You know what I mean? So it was like I'm a photographer, that's how I make my living. But this new art form of photography mixed with paint was like the idea that I wanted to concept. And so I picked that lane and really developed that and got my pitch down. It was very beneficial to be focused on that. So I would recommend, whatever if you're, it's great to have a lot of disciplines, but if you come into this program, you pick something that you want to go, okay, this is where I'm gonna to zone in to make a business of to make a living, not even maybe not a full living, but make some money from, and then get your concept up, figure out how you're going to do that, and who you're going to, who is going to be your customer. And the pitch process, I have to say, like, that was the pitch process is really, I mean, that's a big thing to do. Like, it was a lot of work to get my pitch together, and then to be forced, not no, not I wouldn't say forced, to be like put a presentation together and be able to present that to the group, and then get on stage and present to an audience, was a really great exercise for me because it forced me to really understand what I was doing and really be able to talk to potential customers, potential investors. I mean, I never would have done that. So it really would have, I was lucky enough to get in the program, and I was able to put that work in, and it gave me I think, was said before, an elevator pitch so that I could describe my concept to whoever I possibly wanted to work with or sell to or whatever. So yeah, you gotta pick your discipline and get focused for this program. That's my opinion.
So this will be my fourth class now. And one thing I've seen is people come in, it's like maybe they have one general genre, but they have like, I have this 3-tiered, 4-tiered product thing and whatever. And it's like they have a really good concept of like who they are as an artist, and they have a good concept of and a couple of ideas that really are standing out, and it evolves over the program. And you see someone coming in and say, hey, I have this thing that I'm going to do, and I do have a couple of other ideas on the side, da, 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 da. And with going through the process of laying out your goals, laying out your business plan, laying out who your customer is, who your desired customer is, and all of this, and then the group work of bouncing ideas off of other people who are going through the same exact kind of a process as you are, and working with a mentor who can really help you, give you good advice on that level of focus. I've seen people some people walk in the room and they have a thing and they take it to the end and that's where they are. There are some people who walk in the room, they have a thing with some side things, then all of a sudden they pivot and it's like, aha, this is where I am, and can take it from there. Sometimes it's collecting all of this information, having a really great idea, and then down the line realizing, hey, wait, it could be a year from now. Hey, I did that whole worksheet. I should pull that out and see where I am today. So continuing forward past Periscope, helping you even when it does come time to pivot to a different project. So if you've honed in on one project, you have found that it's really great and it has created time for you to do something else, you now have all those tools to take to apply to anything else you do in the future. And if you start with something and you hone in on it, it doesn't quite work out, again, you have the tools to be able to go to a different thing and use those same tools, just different product. Hi, Daniel, you have a question?
Yeah. So the mentors, how are they? How are you paired, and how do you select mentors, and are they in the same discipline, or are they just? I guess how's the mentorship program work?
So first of all, the mentors are not necessarily artists themselves.
Okay.
They're not artistic mentors, they are business mentors. So most of the folks work in the business community in some capacity. They oftentimes have a connection to the arts, either in the past or present, that are experienced sort of on the business side of the discipline, if you will, but not necessarily in the discipline themselves. So, like, for example, if you're working with a musician, it may be someone who works in the music industry, adjacent to the music industry. For a visual artist, it may be someone who works, runs a gallery or does different things like that. So it's not necessarily artist to artist. It is business person to artist as a mentorship. And really, the way that we select them is we have volunteer mentors, and that is a group that's always evolving and changing. We are always recruiting mentors, talking to new volunteers about becoming mentors. And then each year we have mentors that come back. We have mentors that will leave sometimes. They'll come back later, but it's always kind of an evolving thing. And so we're looking at all of their different skill sets and knowledge areas, and then trying to align them with the gaps that you identify as an artist, where you're trying to develop, but you don't necessarily feel like you have the depth of knowledge in that area. And so we try to line those two things up. It's an art, not a science, but that is kind of where we're aiming at. And so we ask you a lot of questions in your application and throughout the program about where you are, where you're going, and what you're trying to accomplish, and where you feel like you have your strengths and weaknesses. And then we look at our mentors and try to pair you with someone who fits, you sort of brings the strengths that you're looking for to the table.
Another part of the day to day is that we give you guys surveys, and part of that is gathering ideas of where your head is at each point of the program. And as we get closer, as we get about midway through, we start asking questions that are a little bit more directed towards seeing where we can help with mentorship. And we actually do have a survey specifically for mentorship that we put out there so that you can really say, this is what I'm hoping to see. These are my thoughts. These are, this is where I am. These are my goals that I think this is where I feel strong now. This is where I feel weaker now. And so we use that to inform it as well. We kind of work together on that portion.
Yeah, and I wanted to just say one more thing about the mentorship. I had a mentor that I'm still was amazing, and he really helped me on the business side, and really presented things in a way that I was, gave me a perspective that helped me think of things differently, and he helped me with my pitch. And we're still close. Like, I still see him every few months. We'll meet for coffee and talk and stuff. So he stays in touch with me, and it's really nice. It's been a really great relationship. So I just wanted to throw that in.
I had actually another question, if that's okay. I'm so sorry. The young lady that has gone through Periscope, I wanted to ask her a question, and I think that same question, the question I'm about to ask, was asked in the video. If you could just say one thing out of Periscope, what do you feel like is the biggest takeaway that you received for your business or your venture in comparison to before you entered in Periscope, where you were, and then now completing Periscope, what you owe or what Periscope gets the credit for doing. That makes sense.
I think that, well, I say this a lot to people then when I talk about Periscope, and what I'm the most grateful for is that, because I'm not young, and I've actually, I'm in my 50s, and I'm grateful for the program because it gave me some space to be creative, to really be creative in a way where I had some dedicated time to really spend on an artistic venture that I wanted to do. Or I had an idea and I wanted to develop. I don't know if I would have ever spent that dedicated time with the support of the Periscope, community, to ever even give it a shot. And so I'm grateful for the opportunity to be there and to have an idea and to be able to give it the I don't know, the nourishment from the Periscope program to let that evolve into a business. And that's what I do have now is a business. It's I have my photography business, but now I also have a business and I have a business partner, and we do more commercial photography, and we also have a product, art business. Whatever, it's morphed into something a little different than what I had started with, but that's not the point. The point is that it did, like all the steps lead you to a place. So like if I hadn't done that, then I wouldn't be here. So I think that for any of the artists out there, like you have a dream of some sort or an idea, and maybe you haven't been able to, develop it or nourish it. Like going into the Periscope program is going to give you that environment that is going to just be dedicated to that. And you're not going to have, and it's safe and it's strong and it's supportive, and you're not like out there on your own just trying to, get it together. Like you have a lot of support to help you nourish that idea, and then you get to like pitch it and bring it into a concept and share it with other people and get feedback and be confident about it, and then move out, into the world with it, and still have the community to go back to. So I think that the biggest takeaway for me is that I got the opportunity to do a program to develop an idea, and it led me on to my career in another way. And that's what I'm really grateful for. And I love it. I think it's a great program. I think you should all apply and see what happens.
How many applicants do you get each year?
I'm hoping to get over 100 this year. It's kind of strange because I started as we were emerging from the COVID shutdowns. And so, of course, everything slowed down for a while, but it has been ramping up every year since. If you have any questions that come up, you can email me directly, even though, like I said, my full name is Jennifer Anybrocious, so don't be confused by the email address. But you can email me at jbrocious at abcnashville.org or at info@abcnashville.org. And we can get your questions answered, and we look forward to hearing from you.